Hey guys, Chris here with GoodOldGamer. So today, this is going to be kind of an off-the-cuff video. There's no script or any sort of plan on this. In fact, I actually recorded a video similar to this yesterday, but I didn't really like it, so I wasn't gonna upload it. But today we got news about UserBench out there going ahead and changing the way that they aggregate their scores. And it seems to heavily favor Intel, and there's a lot of people out there thinking that this might be some sort of paid advertising or Intel was involved. Now there's no evidence of this out there, and honestly for this discussion, it doesn't really matter, but it does step on a few points of the video that I made yesterday, so I feel that that video is something that needs to be made, but I wanted to do it a little bit better. So that's what we're going to do here today. We're going to be talking about what's going on in the tech industry. I did this video just a few weeks ago. It did really well. Basically where I told you guys that I knew for a fact that certain reviewers were approached by NVIDIA pre-RX 5700 launch. I saw the evidence of it. And instead of following up with that, naming names and ranting and raging, I instead wanted to take a step back. And I'm like, why would people do this? There's got to be something going on there. And then, honestly, it just hit me. After thinking about it for a while, I've come to the conclusion why people would do such a thing, why they would compromise themselves. Not all of them, not every reviewer out there is bad, but some of them, you could definitely tell that they either skewed the data and some definitely slanted data to support a certain narrative. Why would people do that? And that kind of falls in line, like why would a company out there seem to skew their data to favor one company over another? And that's the reason why I'm tying this in with the new user benchmark information that we had, which Steve and Tim did a really good video on. I have a link in the description below if you're unfamiliar with that story. They go way in depth with it. Like I said, it's not that pertinent to this video, but if you want more information on that, please check out their video as well. Okay, so to understand this whole situation, you kind of have to understand what it's like to be a YouTuber. Most people don't have a clue. It's completely different than anything else out there. The only thing that you can really relate it to, it's like running a small business. And YouTube channels are businesses. For me personally, this is more like a secondary job or a hobby than an actual business. But you can see other people out there, they're dead set focused on making this a full-time business. The trouble with the tech industry in particular is it's such a niche market that not many of them are going to make it, and in all honesty, even the ones that do, really, relatively speaking, aren't all that successful. So what do I mean by that? If you take like the guys up top, you got like your Linus Tech Tips. They are the biggest in the whole tech sort of world that I am aware of. And they're only sitting at about 10 million subscribers, somewhere thereabout. They do hit over 1 million views pretty regularly, so I mean, they're definitely doing well. But next down on the list, the second biggest one that I'm aware of is Jay's 2 Cents. He's at about 2 million subs, so that's a major difference. And then there's a couple of them around 1 million, but the vast majority of YouTubers in the tech world are sub 100,000. And if you look at most categories on YouTube for other things, that's nothing. Brand new channels in gaming, like if you just do a pure gaming channel, those guys can hit 100,000 subs within a month or two if they're pumping out decent enough content, because it's a much broader audience. So you have gaming, then you have gaming hardware, then you have PC hardware, then you have CPUs, then you have GPUs. It's like a niche of a niche of a niche of a niche. And it's very, very difficult for channels to get to that size. And using that information, you could pretty much extrapolate that if these channels were out solely to make money, they would just switch over to something more profitable. But they're passionate, and that's the reason why most channels do this. This is the reason why I do this. But even I've tried to quit many times because you get disenfranchised, you just get burnt out, these things happen, and it's just not profitable enough for the money to keep me coming back. It's solely because I want to do it. And of course, you guys would keep bugging me going, hey, you should talk about this and this and this. And eventually I just go, yeah, I want to talk about that. And that's why I keep coming back. But this is also the reason why most channels fall by the wayside. Even good channels, even channels that invest a lot of money up front and put out really good quality content, they can't stick with it because there's not enough of a user base out there in the very technical PC tech world. I mean, we talk about specs and benchmarks and stuff all the time. And if you notice, like Linus and Jay, they'll do benchmarks, but they're usually very basic and they'll gloss right over them because that's not what most people want. And they're targeting much bigger audiences, so they have to cater to them. So the channels that are a lot smaller that do deep dive into this sort of stuff, they're not really funded by YouTube because there's not enough of a viewer base there to keep us profitable as a business. Now, to give you some inside information, and I'm going to use Jim's numbers, Jim from Adored TV, because he said them in his last video yesterday, so I'm free to compare to him. But he said from his YouTube ad revenue, he makes about $700 a month. It's about what I make. And if you break that down, I probably work 10 hours a day, 7 days a week on the channel doing something. Maybe not making videos, but looking stuff up, talking to people in the community, just something, doing something for the channel, probably about 10 hours a day ever since I left my 9-to-5 job. Even then, I was probably still doing about 10 hours a day. So let's break that down. So $700 a month, let's just say roughly about 300 hours a month, going ahead, working on the channel, it comes out to being just a little bit over $2 per hour. So it's literally nothing. If I invested that same amount of time in anything, even a minimum wage job, I would earn infinitely more money. The reason why I do it is because of passion. The reason why Jim does it is also because of passion. And what he was trying to tell people in his video when he tried saying that he didn't want to talk about this stuff anymore is because he's lost his passion. And the money is not there. There's not enough money there for him to go ahead and do something that he's not passionate about, is ultimately what it comes down to. If you're not getting paid for your time, you have to do it because you want to. And if you don't want to, and the money's not there, people are going to walk away. Okay, so I hope that all makes sense to you guys. I mean, it'd be like if you were told to go into work all week and they're going to only pay you like 50 cents an hour. Would you do that? No, you wouldn't do that. Not unless you were really passionate. If you're a doctor or a vet or somebody who really loves their job and they're like, you know what, I can suffer through until the money comes back and I'll keep doing it. Those people might, because they're passionate about it. But if you're somebody that just goes to work because you need money, like most people, you're not going to go to work for 50 cents an hour, $1 an hour, $2 an hour. You're not going to do it. Nobody would. So circling this all back to the beginning, the reason why I think like UserBench is doing whatever they're doing, if they are taking money under the table, it's probably not out of malice. It's probably just due to the fact that they are a company and they need money. They need resources. They might even be justifying this to themselves, saying, hey, look, we need this money. We can do some really cool stuff. We can update the site. We can do all those things that we really wanted to do. This is going to suck for a while. It's they're selling out, essentially, if that's the case. I'm not saying that they are, but I'm assuming under this condition that they are. If that is the case, they're selling a part of their soul so this way that they can build a better business. And the same thing goes for reviewers that slant or skew their reviews because one company asks them to. That company makes them money. At the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. That extra money can go towards paying the mortgage. That could go towards making sure that you can get new equipment. That can go towards a lot of things that people need. YouTubers, for the most part, eventually grow to the point where they can hire other people. And I just told you guys, in this particular market, you can't even feed yourself, let alone hiring somebody else. To get you to that next level, you need somebody to hold a camera. You need somebody to do your video editing for you. So this way you can spend that time doing research and leaving the office and actually having a life. And that's the reason why we get burnt out, is because as YouTubers, most of us in the tech community do everything ourselves. From the editing, we have to pay for everything ourselves. Everything is on us. And after a year or two, most people, the rose-tinted glasses come off and they lose their passion and then they walk away. And it ultimately comes down to money, and it's because the market's just really not large enough. Now, as I said, there are really good reviewers out there that have figured out the balance between the financial and being able to stick to their guns. And you know who they are. But like I said, there are others that definitely seem to tilt the scales when their paycheck is on the line. And just like any other business, they're beholden to the people that cut the paycheck. That's how it goes out there. Just like you are beholden to your business, your employer, they are beholden to the person who is writing the check. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. Who are the YouTubers, reviewers, whatever you want to call them, who are they beholden to? Because if they're beholden to a company, they're basically just producing commercials for you, which for everybody out there cutting the cord, you wanted to get away from commercials. And in all honesty, that's basically what you're watching. If a company is paying these people the majority of their salaries, they're commercials for the most part. Like I said, there are a few people that can walk that line, but not a lot. There's channels like mine that just don't make money. But typically channels like mine don't stick around. And like I said, I've tried to leave a few times. The only way that this can work is if the community, you guys, decide, hey, we want to start supporting the people that we want to support. And it has to be in large numbers. For some reason, I don't know if it's a glitch, but when somebody donates to me on Patreon, I can see how much other people that they're donating to, how much they make in total. So I have a pretty good idea of where most people land on their donations. And I can say this straight up, nobody is making any money in the tech industry. Nobody. The biggest ones that I'm seeing are like $3,000 or $4,000 a month. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going, wow, that's pretty good. It's not. 25% of that's going to go to tax, so you knock that right off the bat. So maybe $4,000 a month. Honestly, that's one person's salary. One person. That's it. That's not a lot of money. So this is the reason why people go to, companies, because they'll pay $10, $20, $30, $100, $200, $1,000 every month, which is what you need to pay employees. Because every employee is going to cost you $3,000 or $4,000 every single month, at least. And that's if you don't have like health insurance and other things. So for tech channels to grow, the ones that you like, you have to support, or they're going to go ahead and go to the corporate sponsors. Because ultimately, people need to be able to put a roof over their heads. They need to be able to afford electricity. They have to buy equipment. And then for really, truly independent people like myself, who buys everything themselves, that's an extra couple $1,000s every single month I would need for that. Now, I'm not saying me. I'm just saying in general, in the whole community. You need to choose who you want to support. But as a community, you guys have to do it. If you want 100% independent reporting at all times, they have to be able to tell companies to piss off and be able to review things appropriately. Otherwise, people will always be beholden. These YouTubers, reviewers, it could even be in print. It doesn't matter. And it goes past the tech industry as well. It goes for everything. Anybody who requires companies and sponsorships to go ahead and pay for everything, those guys are always beholden to somebody other than you. Now, for example, like I have 22,000 subscribers. And out of that, if even 10% of you guys just did $1 a month, that turns into $2,200 every single month. What that could do is, with that, I could actually afford to get like a 2080 Ti. I could afford to get, new motherboards, an Intel platform, do all of those comparisons, and I wouldn't be beholden to anybody. And that's just 10% of my community just doing $1 a month. Now, I know not everybody can do that, but I'm pretty sure 10% of you guys could probably swing that. Now, think of somebody like Hardware Unboxed over there. He's got 300 and something thousand viewers or subscribers. If he gets $1 a month from, let's say, 30,000 people, that bumps him up to 30 grand. And then instead of just having him and Tim doing separate videos, Steve could go ahead and hire other people to do the video editing for him, and so on and so forth. He can put out more content. He could take 5 minutes for a break. He can go on another vacation. Steve, you need to take it easy, man. I got burnt out just doing the 5700 XT and the 3700X back to back. I don't know how you do it. But that man's a machine, but he deserves to take a break. The big thing is he can't. It's a very competitive business, but nobody's making money. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. And this is the reason why people sell out, and you shouldn't be surprised that people sell out. It's not our fault. It's not even really so much your fault. It's just that this is such a niche market that there's just not enough money in it for most people. For passionate people, it's worth it. But like even for me, like I burnt myself out a few weeks ago. And it's been really, really hard to still produce content over the past couple weeks because I was so worn out. I'm trying to get back to it, but I might have to take a few days off. I don't need the money, so I can do that. But other people, they need the money. To be successful on YouTube, you have to do it full time. You have to go 100%. You have to do a video every day. You got to do 2 videos every day. Paul and Tom, those guys are killing it. They're putting out videos all the time. Like, I'm seeing how much faster they're growing than me, and it's because they're pumping out more content than me. Those guys are really killing it out there. But they're also going to hit that point where they're like, why am I working 80, 90 hours a week doing this? Eventually, the joy and the passion fades off, and you need some other reason to do it. And if you want to do it full time, you need money there. You need to be able to pay all your bills. That you have to be able to live comfortably. You have to be able to do your job, essentially. So, enough about me ranting there. If you guys do want to go ahead and support the channel, I do have links in the description below. Even affiliate links really do help out a lot. That's another thing I forgot to touch on. A lot of places will use affiliate links, which doesn't cost you guys anything, which is great. That's one of the best ways that you can help out a channel if you don't want to directly support. But at the same time, this also turns channels into, or basically reviewers into salespeople. Because they're like, hey, buy this, buy this, buy this, because they need the money. So that's not good either. The only way that you can have a fair and balanced community is if the people that you like are properly funded. And that's thousands of dollars a month. Not $10, not $100, thousands, many thousands of dollars every single month for the full-time guys. I'm not even talking about me. I just want to see the community out there have the best possible quality content that they can. They do get it from a few sources, but a lot of sources aren't giving that to you guys. And I'm giving you the only solution that I can come up with. Well, alrighty guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please hit that like button, please subscribe, please share with friends. Sharing is also a great way to help support your favorite channels because that helps grow their audience, and perhaps maybe you can't afford to financially help support, but by sharing the videos, maybe somebody else that watches them can. So that's also another way that you could seriously help out. But if you do want to directly support the channel, please check the links in the description below. I really appreciate that. Love talking to you guys over on Discord. And that's all I have for today. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.